But we also wanted to bring you the evidence we heard from nurse Joanne Williams. Now, she was the nurse that we know was allocated to care for baby Kay when she was born. Now, she is a senior Band 6 nurse who in February 2016 had been working at the Countess for around 10 years on the neonatal unit.
She was designated to look after baby Kay because she was one of 2 experienced nurses on duty that night. The court heard she was looking after baby Kay only and no other babies in Nursery 1 because of her prematurity. And Lucy Letby, remember, was a lower grade, Band 5 nurse. She had responsibility for 2 different babies in Nursery 2, the high dependency nursery next door.
Nick Johnson KC, the lead prosecutor, asked Nurse Williams about baby Kay's condition after birth, and she agreed that during her first 45 minutes on the unit, she appeared to be improving. By 3:30am, an hour and 20 minutes after her birth, she was needing less oxygen, had received specialist medicine to lubricate her lungs, and all was looking good, she said.
Nurse Williams explained the process of securing a baby's breathing tube and attaching them to the ventilator, which she said was a team effort. She said someone would hold the tube in place while the clamp was tightened and tied to a hat on the baby's head.
So the juries heard that at around 3:30 in the morning, Nurse Williams did her routine observations of baby Kay, and then she left the neonatal unit to go and update baby Kay's parents on her condition. Now, Nurse Williams said that she wouldn't have left baby Kay without checking if she was stable and, crucially, that her breathing tube was securely in place.
And Dr. Jayram, the doctor in charge that night, told the jury that as Nurse Williams left the unit, she told him she'd left Lucy Letby babysitting baby Kay. But Nurse Williams told the jury she couldn't remember who she'd asked to look after her baby while she was away.
You can't remember who, but somebody was watching her like a hawk in your absence.
Yes, and I was also aware Dr. Jayram was on the unit.
Do you remember speaking to Dr. Jayram as you left?
My usual practice was to make him aware I wasn't in Nursery 1 with baby Kay.
What condition was baby Kay in when you left?
She would have been stable to the point that was accepted for a 25-week gestation baby. She was oxygenating, otherwise I wouldn't have left.
Were you going, in effect, to tell baby Kay's parents that their daughter was doing well?
To update her parents because of conversations we'd had with the transport team in the hope of getting baby Kay transferred to Arrow Park Hospital. It's important for families to know about, to be prepared.
Before you left, would one of the things you would have done be check her endotracheal tube?
I would have checked it in my 3:30am observations.
So Mr. Johnson asked Nurse Williams if she could estimate how long she was away. She said it was difficult to say, but she didn't think she would have left baby Kay alone for very long because she said she was conscious to come back to baby Kay and to support other staff and babies in the unit. Later, though, she accepted she could have been with baby Kay's parents for around 20 minutes.
So Mr. Johnson then asked Nurse Williams what she remembered about what was going on when she came back. She said she first realised there was a problem because she could hear the alarms on baby Kay's monitor sounding. And this, you may remember, contradicts what Dr. Jayram told the jury. He said he went into Nursery 1 without any prompting because he was suspicious of Lucy Letby because of the previous deaths and collapses that there'd been on the unit. And he noted that the alarms were not going off, even though her oxygen levels were low.
Do you remember hearing anything as you came back into the unit?
Yes, alarms going off.
Where was the alarm coming from?
From Nursery 1.
Did you go into Nursery 1?
I would have thought so, but I can't recall.
Do you remember anything you saw?
Just that people were in the room and the alarms were going off.
Do you remember who was in the room?
I remember Dr. Jayram being in the room and Lucy being in the room.
Was this an emergency?
Yes, it is when we're responding to alarms, but I don't recall walking in and seeing her SATs.
Do you know what was being done by Dr. Jayram or Lucy Letby?
No, not at that time.
Did you play any part in the resuscitation of baby Kay?
I don't recall at that point. I feel I would have.
Under cross-examination from Ben Myers KC, Nurse Williams agreed that when she walked into the nursery, Dr. Jayram was asking her, how's this happened? He also asked her who was in the room at the time. She said she told him she didn't know because she'd been away and updating baby Kay's parents.
Mr. Myers then asked Nurse Williams about whether premature babies could move or dislodge their breathing tube accidentally themselves if they were active babies. She agreed it was possible, but insisted she didn't have much experience of babies who were so premature.
In your experience, tubes can slip or move. That's a possibility, isn't it?
Yes.
And babies are capable of dislodging tubes. Do you agree?
Certain babies, yes.
If they are active, can they dislodge them?
Yes.
It's not implausible for preterm babies to be active.
I don't believe I have enough experience of 25-week babies.
Your recollection initially was that baby K was active.
Yes.
And active babies are capable of dislodging a tube.
It can happen.